This is a Crack House Chronicles production.
Welcome to the Crack House Chronicles, your favorite true crime podcast. I am Donnie, and with me is a man that wants to remind everyone you know you're getting older when you start running into your friends at the pharmacy instead of the nightclub.
Ain't that the damn truth?
Yeah.
I saw a thing today, a couple sitting on a bench, and it's like, oh, let's wait for this ibuprofen to kick in together.
Yeah. Just pain start easing off a little bit.
Oh, I'm telling you.
Man, I live off ibuprofen.
It's crazy.
I have to take a couple every morning when I get up just to...
We're all on drugs, it's just ibuprofen.
just to function.
Oh, Lord.
Man, it sucks getting old.
Oh, I'm telling you.
It does.
Oh, Lord.
What's going on today, dude?
You know what? Same old, same old.
Same old, back in the house doing an episode.
Trying to get one done.
Dude, you got anything to mention?
Hey, how do you know? It's like you already know this stuff.
Dale's got that clap.
Got it going on. We have a nice Apple Podcast 5-star review comes in, and this comes from Hometown-Girl. So Hometown Girl.
Hometown-Girl.
Yeah. I don't know anyway, you know what that means. Hyphen, whatever the hell. Anyway, is it entitled Howdy Neighbors? And it's 5 stars.
5 stars.
I live in Burke County, so I feel like I'm sitting down with friends to catch up because your dynamic is so laid back and down to earth. Love your show and the research you put into the storytelling. How's that?
Man.
Pretty cool, man.
Well, we just two guys sitting here talking. That's all we do.
That's all we do. You are neighbors.
Yeah.
Burke County, that's just up the road.
Yeah, it's just right across the line from Cleveland County where we're at.
I was going to say street and street road at the same time, but it's Strode, I guess, what I said.
Yeah, you go out here and hit Highway 18, you can be in Burke County in just a few minutes.
Just a few minutes.
Yeah, not far at all.
No, negative. So anyway, we appreciate you, Hometown/girl. I guess it's not /dash. Hometown-girl.
Hometown/girl.
Anyway, Hometown Girl, thanks so much for spending a few minutes to throw us a few letters in the box here to let us know we're doing all right.
Yeah, if anybody else wants to be like Hometown Girl, you can go to Apple Podcasts and leave a 5-star rate and review, and we'll give you a big old shout out.
And we're glad to be your neighbor.
Yeah. Won't you be my neighbor?
Neighbor.
All right, Dale. After this short break, man, we'll get going in this episode.
All right, then. Let's do it.
All right, man, we're back.
We are back.
We got a good episode today, and we're talking about a guy who's very, very local to us.
Yeah, speaking of neighbors, it's just right up the road as well.
Yes, across another county line.
Catawba.
Yeah, Catawba. Actually, it's Catawba.
It is Catawba.
Catawba County. And we're going to Newton, North Carolina. And me and you both fairly familiar with Newton, North Carolina.
Well, too.
Yeah, well, too. But we're talking today about a guy by the name of Kenneth Earl Mohler. Mohler.
Right.
And Dale, this guy's missing.
He is.
So we need to get this out there.
He's been missing for a while. So
he has, since 2012.
No, I never heard of this.
No, and it's right here local to us.
It is.
But just a little bit of background on this Ken Mohler. He was born on June the 3rd, 1942, which will make him 82 years old today. Well, right now. At the time he went missing, he was 70 years old. He's 5'5" and 190 pounds. So we're just going to get into the disappearance of this guy.
Okay. Tell us about it.
Well, now, Ken, he disappeared from his workplace. Now, he was working at Gregory Wood Products in Newton, North Carolina.
Gregory Wood Products.
Yeah, this happened on August the 17th of 2012.
Is that off Startown Road?
It is. If you go up about 321... and you go through Startown right there, it's the Gregory Wood Products, but the place isn't there anymore.
Oh.
And we're going to talk about that right here. Because at the time all this happened, Gregory Wood Products, its home base was in Statesville, North Carolina.
Okay.
But they had just recently built a state-of-the-art mill in the Newton Conover area off of Highway 321.
So like a sawmill?
Yeah, it is pretty much like a sawmill.
Gotcha.
But this was a huge, expensive undertaking that resulted in this state-of-the-art lumber mill that should have been extremely profitable. But we've heard descriptions that the mill had an elevated equipment system, which meant that the equipment in the building was sitting over a concrete pad, which allowed easy access to most of the machinery underneath.
Oh, okay. So it should make it easier for maintenance.
It should be, yeah. But unfortunately, at this time, the market, it suffered a severe turndown at the time it was built.
Ooh.
and it was apparently struggling to keep going.
Oh, yeah, back in 2008 or 9 or so?
Yes.
Yeah.
And this was particularly bad, and the lumber was hard to come by in the area where they built this mill. And I've heard, too, that sometimes they even miss getting paychecks to some of the employees there because of the lack of work and
Hard times, man.
low business, yeah. But the company filed for bankruptcy about a year after Ken disappeared. But there's not much description about what Ken did at this Gregory Wood Products. It's been reported that he was like a jack of all trades or even a maintenance guy there at the plant.
Right.
And even been reported that some people said he was kind of a security guard, but there's some people said that he was more like a maintenance guy.
Right. Probably just a whatever needs to be done kind of guy.
Yeah, and this Gregory Wood Products had been burglarized several times before all this happened. Out in this area where it's at is a rural address, and it has an isolated location, and it's well off the main road.
So nobody can see it from the road, so it'll make it like an easy target, I guess.
Exactly. And the most recent burglary that occurred there was a couple months before Ken went missing. And it was reported that there was a $100 side grinder that went missing, some chainsaws that was worth over $1,000, and some assorted tools and drill bits that was stolen too.
Hate a thief.
Yeah. So going into the timeline of Ken's disappearance.
So you think maybe they was asking him maybe to keep an eye on things? Did he live near there, or do we know?
Yeah, he lived in Hickory.
Okay.
He lived about 20 minutes away from this sawmill.
Okay. So he wasn't real close.
No, but we're going up to August the 16th of 2012. And this was at about 4 to 4:30 in the afternoon, and Ken is at home, and he's doing some drywall and putting up some drywall in his home. And he wasn't scheduled to work that particular day, but he gets a text or a call from his boss about a water leak at the mill.
Okay.
So this is when Ken leaves for the mill around 4:30
And we're PM, correct?
p.m. in the afternoon, yes.
Okay.
So regardless of what route he took to get to work, it's like we said, it's about a 20-minute drive south from Hickory, where he lived, to the mill there in Newton, North Carolina.
Okay.
So it is likely that Ken got to the mill just before 5 p.m.
Yeah, give or take.
So at around 5 p.m., Ken gets to the mill and more than likely starts working on this water leak.
Okay.
And during this time, there's some reports that say there was a truck driver that may have been overnight parked at this facility. Because, it's being right off of 321. This 321 is a major road through the area.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how 18-wheelers and truck drivers, they'll pull off and
All
park.
over, yeah.
Their part of their deal is they have to rest so much before they can drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They only get so much drive time.
Exactly, yeah.
And there's a big truck stop there kind of right now, but it was not there in 2012.
No. Mm-mm.
Okay.
So, according to Ken's family, they were interviewed for all this, and the police, this truck driver that was there, his story was checked out, but he was not a person of interest. So at around 7:30 that evening, Ken texted his wife saying that he had fixed this leak at work.
Okay.
And he was planning to head home and be home within the hour.
Okay. So 7:30.
Yeah.
I got you.
And at 8:05, Ken texted his boss saying that he had the leak fixed and he was done. He was going home. So at around 8:30, this is about the time Ken should get home, depending on, what time he had to clean up after fixing the leak.
Of course.
Yeah.
According to what he told his wife and what time he texted his boss, would still give him time to get home by 8:30.
Yeah, but Ken hadn't got home. And it was moving on up to 10 p.m.
Ooh.
And according to Ken's wife, she assumed that he had something else come up at the mill, and she just went on to bed. So I get that too.
Right.
So the next day, August the 17th of 2012, this was the next morning about 7 a.m., one of Ken's co-workers gets to the mill, and he finds Ken's truck there with the keys still in the ignition. And Ken is nowhere in sight.
Wonder if he just left them in the truck all the time, if that was anything odd.
Well, I don't know. If you pull up to the mill and you just leave your keys in your work truck, I don't know.
It's possible.
Yeah, it's very possible.
Yeah.
So when he's seeing no sight of Ken, that's when he called Ken's cell phone, and he heard it ringing. And it was ringing somewhere outside, and he eventually found the phone.
Okay.
And Dale, it was buried in some dirt.
What?
Yeah. And there was also there buried with it was some keys. I guess some work keys too. He probably didn't keep his work keys on the same keychain as the truck keys.
Yeah, I'll get that.
Yeah. But this coworker called 911.
Okay, so on this Thursday that he went over, was the mill operating that day, or do we know?
I think they were working, but it was his scheduled day off.
Right. I was just wondering if there were people there when he got there at 4:30.
They probably already left.
Okay.
Especially if they go in at 7 o'clock, they're probably already gone for the
7 to 3:30, 7 to 4, something like
probably
that.
something like that.
Gotcha.
But they had reported this leak, and I guess they just called Ken to go
Okay.
over and fix it. That's my understanding.
I ain't trying to backtrack. I'm just trying to put it all together.
I know, and I appreciate you keeping all this together too. So this one they called 911 when they find the phone and the keys.
Yeah, because you're not just going to bury your phone.
No.
Something's going on.
Mm-mm. So by 8:30 that morning, the search is in full swing for Ken Mohler,
Okay.
with the sheriff's department out in full force. And they searched the mill and the surrounding property for about 7 hours.
Ooh.
And sometime during this 7 hours, Ken's wife shows up at the mill looking for him after being out shopping that morning. Yeah, which,
That's odd to me.
yeah, I don't understand. She goes to bed that night before,
Yeah, hadn't talked to him
And-
since, 7:30.
yeah, and wakes up, and he's still not at home.
So she goes shopping?
She goes shopping, I guess.
Hmm.
And maybe she had something important she had to shop for. Who
Well,
knows?
maybe she just stopped and got something on the way down there. So
Could be, yeah.
I don't know. We're not going to put too much on her.
But here are the clues that are reported to have been found.
Okay, let me know what we got here.
Okay, we have number one, Ken's glasses. He had prescription glasses, which he needed to see. They were found in the bed of his truck.
That's odd.
Yeah. And Ken's keys and phone were found on the property under some dirt, like we talked about.
That's odd.
And number three, police, they do not elaborate, but they say that there may be signs of a struggle at the scene, because we're going to get into that here in a minute.
Okay.
Because according to Ken's Charlie Project page, there was a piece of flesh-like material with red stains consistent with blood and white hair that were located in some soil on the property.
Now,
Now they took this flesh-like material and this red stains, and they
the
tested.
flesh-like material was in quotes while we're reading here. So.
Yes.
So we're not just saying it's flesh-like material. Go ahead.
Yeah, this was tested and later proved to be, through DNA testing, proved to be Ken Mohler's.
So apparently it was flesh,
Yes.
not flesh-like.
Yeah, this claim is corroborated by a local paper there in Hickory, the Hickory Daily Record. Yeah. So since his disappearance, no leads have panned out on Ken Mohler, and they searched several ponds in the area without any further advancement on his case. And it just goes cold, man. And every so often, local news stations will run a blurb about the case, and there has been a reward for him for $5,000.
Right.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. There's a radio show that did an interview with his family. It's called Bring Him Home Now. But you can't, I've clicked on it and it doesn't take you anywhere. It just takes you to
A dead link.
the dead link, yeah. So I'm not sure about that, if it's out there available on any other
Well,
platforms.
we'll keep looking, yeah.
Yeah, we'll keep digging on that. But there's not a lot on this guy. I know his family, they have a Facebook page for him that they've used to try to get the word out on him. But Ken is an Army veteran and a very religious man, and he also helped found the Fresh Oil Ministries. It's the church in Hickory, North Carolina. And Ken is described as being a strong believer in alternative medicine, and he kept an herb garden. And he is also very close to his family and hoped to be named the legal guardian of his young granddaughter. And I also read in a newspaper article or something that it was reported that Ken and his wife were maybe filing for divorce.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I don't know what's up with that. What are your thoughts on this guy?
I don't know, dude. This is pretty wild. It's so close to not know anything about it, and it's definitely something went on here.
Yeah. And I have reached out to Ken's family, his son, his daughter-in-law, to try to get some information from them, and hopefully maybe they'll contact me back and perhaps talk to us about Ken's case, because I want to know some more about this guy, because this is very, very local to us.
Yeah, and I also see that according to the Charlie Project in 2017, a witness told police that she had overheard two men who were drunk talking about killing Ken. And supposedly they were stealing stuff from the lumberyard when he caught them, and in the struggle he was unintentionally killed. The men apparently claimed to have dumped Ken's body in an old well. As a result, the police dug up an old well near the site of the lumber mill in 2019, but nothing was found, and the men have never been charged.
Yeah, they need to talk to these men.
It sounds like you need to do a little more digging.
Yeah, they need to get a alibi on these guys, find out where they were at.
Or at least find out why they lying about it.
Yeah.
One or the other.
Yeah.
Because that ain't something you just make up and start boasting about.
Yeah. But at the time of Ken's disappearance, he was wearing a white or gray t-shirt, jeans, and mid-calf work boots. He is a Caucasian male, hazel eyes. He is bald. He wears glasses, but they were left at the crime scene. And he goes by the name Ken instead of Kenneth.
Right.
But that's pretty much all we got on this guy. There is a Facebook page for him. There are some articles out there. They're limited. But if anybody has any information, they can contact the Catawba County Sheriff's Office at 828-465-8345.
Yeah, foul play is suspected. You think?
Yeah, I'd say so, yeah.
Yeah, because this is just odd. Especially if they found flesh-like material.
Yeah, that ain't good.
The DNA showed was him.
Yeah, there's a river near there. He could have been dumped in that river. And, like we talked about, 321 is a major road through there.
Yeah, that's not far from here.
No, and they could have been put in a vehicle and transported anywhere.
Or back of a truck that was sitting there.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to dig more into this guy and find out what I can find out. See if we can get some more information on him.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe do another update if we can find something.
Yeah, but this is very, very local to us. And I hadn't heard anything about it, and I just happened to come across it.
It's very strange.
I was looking up something else and came across this guy. And I'm like, missing from Newton, North Carolina. Why haven't we heard about this guy?
We're at Newton all the time.
Yeah. And I know where this is. I know where this area is. So crazy. It's 2012. And you say that truck stop wasn't there in 2012.
I don't think so.
This is Love's truck stop.
Love's truck stop. I'm pretty sure.
But if anybody has any information, please contact your local law enforcement, Crime Stoppers, or anybody.
Or us.
Yeah. We'd love to talk to you about it.
We'll pass it on.
Yeah.
If you don't want to talk to us, we'll pass it on.
But we will post pictures of Ken and this
whatever we can find.
lumber yard and sawmill place, and hopefully try to get some answers on this guy.
I know, you look at him, man, he looks so familiar, doesn't he?
He does. And, we're in Newton all the time, and I've shown his picture around to some people that live up that area, and they had never heard of it.
No.
They've lived there their whole life, and they have never heard of this guy.
It's crazy.
Yeah. But he does. He looks just like somebody you'd see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen him before.
You'd think.
Yeah. Looks like, yeah.
Man.
Wow. All right, we want to get this out there and let people know, make more aware of Ken Mohler.
Yeah.
His disappearance.
Somebody did it.
All right. We're going to get out here, bud.
All right, let's roll.
We want everyone to be safe. Please be careful and always be aware of your surroundings.
Because the next episode could be about you.
This is the Crack House Chronicles.